Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Saving the Seat. We are here. It is 2026 time. We're excited to bring you some new movies, some new reviews to add to a new list that we're creating throughout the year. And as always, I am Joe Compton, and I am joined by
the man, the myth, the legend, the guy that is probably going to end up having dementia, but will remember every movie he has ever seen, Bryan Tann.
You're going to be the guy in the home repeating movie lines after movie lines.
And that's just going to be all of my dialogue.
I can't wait for the moment when you're sitting at the chessboard in the game room and you do, give me all you got, give me all you got.
Actually, I'm probably going to do one of those where I know that I'm losing, and I'm just going to be like, and you know my name is the Lord, and my vengeance comes upon thee.
Or you stand up and go, I run things in this neighborhood. I'm the police. King Kong ain't got nothing
on me. That's right.
I just watched that movie, so it was fresh in my head.
Oh my god! I'll tell you what. At one point, I'm gonna do like, Mr. Tann, are you ready for your sponge bath? Ready? Yeah, I'm ready.
Or I'm your Huckleberry.
That's right. That the one that I did that was from Harlem Nights for those.
Yeah.
Probably one of Eddie Murphy's most underappreciated films.
That's awesome.
Oh, I'll definitely be someone's Huckleberry for a sponge bath. Look, I will fake whatever condition I have to fake to get a sponge bath.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible. Yeah. No one's going to take any of my ailments seriously ever again. And nor should they. I'm excited though, Joe, because this is season 2, and this is the actual season 2.
Yes, it is. Yes, sir. Absolutely, 100%.
That's right. Last episode, we got to the stuff that we didn't quite get to.
Yeah.
But brand spanking new. I am
brand spanking new, and there's a lot to say about the movies we're going to talk about. And we're also doing a brand new thing this year where we're having our audience or people we know give us recommendations for indie films. And so we start that with this episode. And Mr. SM Hillman giving us our first anime of the year. So I'm real excited about that, to talk about that. But one thing I'm not excited to talk about is saying goodbye to someone who I found who is super dear to me I think probably in terms of learning comedy, there probably, I can put it on my hand, the amount of people that I think are geniuses at it. And Catherine O'Hara was certainly one of those.
Absolutely. Us Gen Xers, us 80s babies, we have a special place in our heart for Catherine O'Hara. Like, look, I get some, there's some of y'all young ones that are into the retro, they're into the stuff that Joe and I saw firsthand. And then there's those that sit there and will watch Home Alone every year. Mm-hmm. And there are some of y'all that'll watch Schitt's Creek, and you'll quote Schitt's Creek to me. I don't know what you're talking about because I've never watched it. But look, Catherine O'Hara she transcends all of that. Okay,
absolutely.
A lot of the women comedic actresses that we have right now, this woman blazed a trail for them in a way that cannot be given adequate talking points. She wasn't the first, but she's among the most influential.
You know what's different about her is, and she's not the first to do this either, which is take risks and step outside of the box and not be afraid to be out of her comfort zone. She held her own with probably some of the heavyweights of Canadian comedy and SCTV. I mean, in fact, she outdid all of them because she wrote sketches for all of them.
Right.
But the thing that's different about her and her approach is that you're never that far away, not separated in 6 degrees, but maybe like 2 or 3 from Catherine O'Hara. And that is the most interesting thing about it, is that she had all these angles that she played, especially when she was doing the mockumentary stuff with Christopher Guest and Eugene Levy. You know, she played a different character in every single one of those movies, and yet there was a glimmer of her in every single one, or at least a glimmer of, even in Home Alone, this is really apparent, but there's a glimmer of her necessity to love it, right? There's just, you feel this passion from her that exudes a loving glow to it, that even in the darkest of lights or the most cynical of manners in which we make fun of human beings and their nature, she was always, you always kind of go, there's a moment when I just want to hug Cookie Googleman. I mean, of course, every man wanted to hug Cookie Googleman and did, but that was part of the joke. But you know what I mean? There was just a moment when Cookie Googleman seemed like a person that we could relate to and understand, you know?
And that's a good point. And the one thing that I really appreciate about Catherine O'Hara is that, especially for the heyday, you know, the 80s into the 90s, and what I'm about to say, it is not in any way an indictment or impugning of people's talents. I want to start that off. But she didn't use sensuality and sexuality.
No.
She was kind of like a Vicki Lawrence or a Carol Burnett, where I don't even want to use the term modest, because that's not really, it wasn't a part of who she was. It was just that you had to pay attention to her because she was funny.
She was smart about it. She uses innuendo and suggestiveness to be seductive.
Right. But and that's not anything against people that use physical seduction or more outward. She was very subtle. Mm-hmm. Not many people are able to master the art of subtlety. And look, subtlety doesn't work for everyone. I'm not saying that everyone has to be subtle. You do what works for you, because everything has its place. But even when she was playing Delia Dietz, for someone who was just an oddball yuppie, that it was insinuated that she was, it was very grounded and very controlled. Yeah. And the lip syncing of Harry Belafonte in Beetlejuice, that is just comedic gold that cannot be replicated. Yeah. And Catherine O'Hara just had this ability to take the most unlikable of characters and make them pseudo-likable. Because I'm sorry, all the McAllisters were trash. Every member of that family was garbage. But when you saw her doing everything she did to get home to that kid, it was like, and of course that.
I mean, her timing is impeccable. Her ability to think on the fly is impeccable. She's super smart comedically, and it just is so easy to get lost when she's on the screen, because she buries it. You know, she kicks it. She kicks the goal. She hits the home run. You know, every time, and it's really.
She really kicked the llama's ass.
Yeah, she's absolutely was just one of a kind, and so
it's a major.
I'm glad we get a chance to honor her here, and it's unfortunate that we won't get to see more of what she can do.
It's hurtful too that we seem to be doing this a lot. Yeah. And for and I tell my son this, and the older you get, you start to get to where life is taking more than it's going to give you.
Yeah.
And this is a huge loss for, Canadian comedy as well. For me, it's right up there when we lost John Candy in so many ways. Mm-hmm. Well, what else can be said?
Yeah. Rest in power to Catherine O'Hara.
What is that? What is that? All right, guys, we're rolling soon.
He's a prince, you're a wannabe princess. You're in the Big Apple, it's magical. Every time you kiss, time freezes, Fort snows.
Maybe it's time for you to get a realer job and a girlfriend.
Don't forget your posture, stand up straight. I love her, she loves me. We're podcasting.
What do you do?
I make Christmas movies. Do you watch over the holidays?
We have a romantic red flag alert.
What about that girl Ava?
Ava Shapiro from summer camp.
You know, you always had a crush on her.
You just moved back to New York. You keep in touch?
You know, touch. Or keep.
Go talk to her. That's a sign.
Ava Shapiro.
Leo?
How are you?
Great. I am a struggling actress.
Hi.
So, to fuel my hopeless dreams, I tutor kids, little boys and girls.
Your bar mitzvah tutor.
Where were you when we needed you? Why did Leo not get bar mitzvah? No.
God, she could be the one.
She could be the one.
You know what to do.
Text her with a purpose. Coffee. But coffee is finite. But a bar mitzvah tutor.
Why do you want to have a bar mitzvah?
I have a little crush on Ava Shapiro. So I'm just here to learn the Hebrew, get her to fall in love with me, happily ever after. You only get one.
People do crazy things when they have a crush.
Will you have to get circumcised again?
You never know.
What have you done that is compassionate to others?
I held a baby.
Okay. What else?
For my bar mitzvah project, I am going to fall in love with someone.
That's creepy and weird.
You're so worried about falling in love. You don't see the love all around you.
I'm 30 years old, having a bar mitzvah, trying to live out some insane fantasy in my head. I feel no more Jewish than when we started this whole thing.
Being Jewish is not about feeling Jewish.
Shabbat Shalom. Merry Christmas.
Bagels on the house.
Thank you.
All right, get out of here.
This is a cultural stereotype that you're, imposing upon me.
This is the Parshat Vayetze. It's from Genesis.
Oh, I love Phil Collins.
On that note, we just saw the trailer to 31 Candles. It's an interesting way to start our year.
This is a very interesting way to start. 31 Candles. Wow. Yeah, this is definitely an interesting way to start.
I got Sally Wood vibes right from the beginning on this movie, and it kind of played out that way in a lot of respects. This guy,
in a lot of ways, yes.
Something that's very interesting about all the movies we're going to be talking about here in the next couple episodes is the credit sequences have been very interesting to me. Like, I've noticed that the people are paying a lot more attention or a lot more artistic merit to credit sequences. Mm-hmm. This one had kind of like that nice Woody Allen, like New York vibe to it. Like I wrote 70s credit tribute, basically.
Well, it's also an instance where anytime you put a movie in New York might as well be listed in the credits. This is a film that, number one, Jackie Sandler really jumped out at me. And I'll tell you, she jumped out at me, but I'll tell you what, Sarah Coffey, I think I found my new crush. I really think I found my new crush. I'll tell you what, though. This film also had some sort of Seinfeldian vibes to it. A little
Totally.
Bit. You've got the Jewish fella that just hasn't seemed to have grown up, but he's stuck in the past. Where anytime, I've only watched a couple of episodes of Seinfeld here and there, but I really felt like that whole friend group just were emotionally stunted individuals due to childhood trauma. And that's kind of what I got from Leo. But at the same token, you can tell he's a little bit, he's a little off. He's a little odd. He's a little quirky. But that's what makes him fun. This is our first likable cast we've had in a very long time.
There is something to be, and you know what? It's also refreshing to see it go the direction it goes, right? I mean, it doesn't. It could have gone and done some weird and like cliche things that it doesn't do here. It is very true to life and very real in that respect. It's probably the realest aspect of this movie because this movie's ridiculous in its overall premise and I also like the fact that we see Hallmark movies in a different light here. Yeah. I'm a sucker as anybody would know me, and Bryan knows me, I'm a sucker for movies inside movies.
Yeah.
And so those scenes really resonated with me pretty well. And we got to see our friend. We got another French-Italian actor appearance.
We're getting, like, dude, French-Italian just coming up out of left and right.
Well, I mean, New York films, right? I mean, they're all going to be in there.
Listen, everybody in New York is connected somehow.
Yeah. I wrote down what this movie really needs is more turtlenecks.
It never would have worked out between us anyways. You're a literal prince from Bakersville. And me, I just make cookie cakes.
Here. I want you to have this.
Your toothbrush?
No. Your toothbrush.
You're making me brush. I'll see you around, Prince of Bakersville.
By the way, Merry Christmas.
Okay, that is a cut. We are cutting, please. Wardrobe, I'm gonna need more turtlenecks. Look, this isn't how it can end. They need to end up together. The audience has been rooting for them.
He has a princess, not some peasant baker at home. This is a happy ending.
It's not. We've been with them the entire movie. They're meant to be together. The audience will never forgive us.
There may not be an audience. Here, have a Red Bull.
Yes.
which is one of the lines in the movie. And that's what he told his great uncle before he gave him all his money to Jeffrey Epstein. I love that line.
That made me. I snorted and laughed out loud at work over that one.
I am a little upset at them citing The Godfather 3, but hey.
Listen, I can't get over the hate for Godfather 3. I like Godfather 3.
Why does it have to be on screen? That's all I say. Hate it in private is what I'm saying.
I'll tell you what I really appreciated though also is the fact that Leo goes through with his plan, but it becomes more than what he was doing.
Yeah.
It actually becomes self-discovery, which is kind of something that's connected to another film that we're probably not going to talk about. We're going to be talking about soon in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And as someone who, we've had these conversations off air about identity and culture and blah, blah, blah. It was really, really nice to see him get some real respect for his culture and the friendships, the added friendships that he started to build. This is a guy who, in a lot of aspects, he's looked at as a loner and blah, 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 and how he just opens up. And I thought it was really, really, this was a very refreshing film. It's lighthearted.
Yeah.
There's not too much, but there's substance without feeling like you're drowning in melodrama.
You know what's really smart about this movie is it doesn't shy away from the cliches. It leans into them. And when it leans into them, it feels more real because it doesn't end up, the cliche doesn't end up being the be-all, end-all plot point of that movie, right? I mean, you have the Jewish family that wants him to see him get married and have a girlfriend, and you have the Hallmark movies where you have the actors who are kind of over the fact that they have to do these movies, but then they get on screen and they do the movie, all of those things, and then of course all the product placement aspects of doing the Hallmark movies, the toothbrush. We need more toothbrush. All of those things. And I loved, there's so much here in terms of, there was a really cool, my geek moment was there was a really cool shot of when he was at the Ferris wheel and the broken glass and you see his face kind of cascade across the glass, which is a very cool shot. I like the twisting ending because it's real. It feels real,
Right. It's not generic and cliche.
Right. And the ancillary characters in this are all very good. All the side characters in this movie really make this movie. Leo is really the center focus, but honestly, the characters around him really ignite who Leo is, and I think that really works very well here.
Absolutely. The only thing that bugged me, and it was a character quirk, which I was okay with it, but it was frustrating me. It was just Eva Shapiro. Like, if you don't quit saying this woman's name, if you don't just call her Eva.
Well, the running joke does pay off. Yeah,
it does pay off, and that's one of the things I appreciate because it did pay off.
Yeah, and it was a very sweet moment.
It really was. This is probably, an early favorite. This could be an early favorite for my Tann's dozen.
Nice.
It could be because there's no one in this film that I hate, and it's
refreshing.
Very well written. It's very well acted.
Yeah.
And there's no wasted time. There's no wasted motion. And I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we should mention Jonah Feingold, who is the writer-director here. And this feels like a autobiography / kind of idea that, maybe he has some experience with. And that's what makes the best movies, often especially independent films.
I've been stood up.
Me too, I think.
What do you want?
Same as anyone, meet someone, be happy.
Men off the menu, but I'll see what I can do.
So jump like you want it, Maya.
What are you doing?
Wait.
I ain't thinking about tomorrow, only thinking about the moment. Feel the rush.
Why have you got so many?
They're just places I used to live.
Go on, give me your tour of the city. Show me who you are, and I'll show you the time of your life.
There must be a reason why you have to get your thrills by breaking into other people's houses.
You ever had any fun, Daniel?
No, not much. Oh, so what are you doing? You're helping me.
I think you want to be free of all that.
Has he moved back? What happened to the other one? The sad girl.
I want to stop this.
Why are you so worried all of a sudden? Oh, we're not going back. We got to keep going.
We move on and we see the next film here, a trailer for Seven Keys. We have nepotism in this film. A very good nepotism, I think. I saw his father in him a few times in this film. Let's just put it that way. So
yes. And I'll tell you what, this movie is at first it's really sweet, and then it gets real dark real fast. And I like dark. I love it. I think it's great. I'll tell you what.
I like that the dichotomy of the switching of personalities. That's very cool. This movie does that very well. This reminded me a lot of California, the David Duchovny, Brad Pitt movie.
Yes. I kind of feel like, what's funny is Emma McDonald, who plays our female lead Lena, she gave me Laurie Singer in Footloose vibes, where she just kept pushing and pushing. Only this is like what would happen if Footloose was actually dark and Chuck decided to become a monster. Because it was like Daniel was really chill.
You're gonna dance, damn it.
Oh, you want to dance? Because Daniel was mellow until she started to push this agenda of visiting his apartments. Now, this is
So there's a lot we can't say about this, but there is if you go back, and this is something that I love about movies like this, is you go back, you see it all unfold right in front of you.
Unfolds in a very, very frightening way. It probably would have happened anyway.
Mm-hmm. And they do a good job of revealing all of that. I think that's one of the really good elements of this film. And I wrote "Wholly Mistaken Identity," Batman. That's what I wrote.
Well, what really gets me though is that Daniel, for as off as he is, he's a very different type of individual that we see in this role, though. Like, it's hard to talk so much about it without giving anything away.
Yeah. I will say the only thing the twist does badly is it kind of ruins Lena. It kind of ruins, because Lena is a force to be reckoned with at the beginning of this movie, and
It
then
really is.
and then the shift happens, and there's a changeover, but then again there isn't, and that was weird. That weirded me out a little bit, you know.
It does feel.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking
it's
about?
Very sudden. It does feel very, very sudden. But at the same token, it kind of shows who she is as a character, where she's trying to put out this sort of this aura about herself,
mm-hmm.
and then you just see she's just a sad, broken person.
Yeah,
who's trying to be this thrill seeker to try to mask her own pain.
The other thing this movie does is it plays with claustrophobia really well. Yeah. The hallways and the small apartments.
The lighting does a good job of that too.
Yeah, it does. Really does. And yeah, there's a lot of good color in this. And the camera movements. The camera's looking like it's panicked, and it looks like, you know, they rush into us. They like, especially when it's become sexual, they all of a sudden just jump into the shot. And I love all that. That's really good, really focused filmmaking right there. And it has a cool soundtrack too. The music is okay. I think the music does overwhelm a little bit in these, and I find that interesting because I think all of the sexual movies that we've watched over time, and one that we'll be talking about in the future, the music really bothers me a little bit. It's a little oversaturating, you know.
The 80s, the 70s and 80s, especially the 80s, and even into the 90s. They did a good job with a lot of the music when it came to sex scenes and love scenes.
I agree,
especially in the mid 80s into the 90s, where you would have like that was actually music that set.
Here's a good one for you. Sea of Love. Sea of Love is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, even if you remember the old Red Shoe Diaries series, that was
sure. Yeah,
they did an amazing job with the music because the music was a part of the scene.
Yeah,
you know, like the way anytime you do a film or TV show set in New York is a part of it. Mm-hmm. And like Red Shoe Diaries and shows of that ilk, it was the same way. Yeah. And this film really sort of felt like a throwback to that.
I do get the Red Shoe Diary vibe from it, but this also is psychologically is just weird and twisted. So that's where it becomes. It's like if Red Shoe Diaries and Tales from the Crypt had a baby.
I was thinking Red Shoe Diaries and Saw. Well, not even Saw.
No, Saw's a little bit more complicated than that.
Yeah, I was off on Saw. Well, what's another like Red Shoe Diaries? Maybe
7, maybe like a
7. Where it's just that psychological warfare.
Yeah, where the characters all twist and turn,
right?
Based on what's going on?
They're pretzels.
Yeah, this movie's interesting. It's a movie I don't want to ever watch again, to be honest with you. But it's good. It's not bad. It's not a terrible film, and I really
the rewatchability of it from the perspective. It's tough, but that doesn't mean it's a bad film.
But when I see a twist movie, I always like to go back and see if they laid the clues and the foreshadowing for it. And there was not a foreshadowing in this movie. There was a real subtle one. But it really did take the clues and give you all the information.
I think for me, what it was what you know to expect from certain movies.
Mm-hmm.
You're watching to say, all right, who's the? It's gotta be, and then boom, hits you.
It seemed like the neighborhood was getting better. Out the blue, just made a turn for the worse. These kids these days, bro. I ain't afraid to say it, they got me shook.
They call themselves PSK, Parkside Killers. Kid named Tron is the boss.
Put your gun down, get out of my store.
Did we make that much of a difference as a cops?
I'd like to think so. But some of us got a raw deal.
Would it kill you to have a drink with your former officers?
There's some bad blood between them.
2 better days.
The better days.
I'll let the police do their work. You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
What can we do about it?
Good luck with the meditating.
Yeah, well, good luck on your case.
He's running out of places to hide.
It's about being on the winning team.
Don't make this any more complicated than it already is.
It's too late now.
Speaking of what to expect, your boy gave us something that we have to talk about here. You want to clue us in on the next film for us?
Look, you know me. You know I love me some Michael Jai White.
Yes.
I think Michael Jai White is the man. You can give me your Chuck Norris jokes and whatnot, but Chuck Norris has nightmares of Michael Jai White. I said it. He is a very underappreciated actor, but he's also an actor that we have watched grow into his craft for almost 30 years now, 29 years since Spawn came out.
Sure.
And Spawn was so rough delivery, rough writing. But 2 years before Spawn, when he played Mike Tyson, that was probably still an amazing job he did. And he's only grown, and he's gone from being an action movie guy to a guy that can be anything. And when I saw that we were doing Oscar Shaw, I was like, I haven't heard of this yet. This is going to be great. And I went right to that Amazon page, and I rented it, and I'm like, oh, Michael Jai White and Tyrese Gibson? Oh,
right.
About to pop off. When's it going to pop off? Any second now.
Yeah.
Any second now.
This movie is the greatest tease I've ever seen in a film of 90 minutes of caliber. Because you're waiting. You know it's coming, right? You know it's coming. Never came. And you're just going, what the hell, man?
I seriously felt like Milhouse on that episode of The Simpsons with Poochie. When are they going to get to the fireworks factory? I'm serious. When is all the fighting gonna look?
Right.
Listen.
Yeah, this movie had way too much talking for an action movie.
Too much talking, way too much setup for no payoff. This is the most. Listen, as great as Blood and Bone was, this is the polar op. Listen, Blood and Bone was action in your face from the word go.
Right.
This was like, there's gonna be action. Well, where is it? It's coming.
Well, to be nice, I will say this movie looked beautiful. It really, I like that there was darkness and light in this. I like the setup of the shots, especially the wide ones where you had the two people on the ends. Very, very good filmmaking here. But this is what strikes me about why this movie fails, is because they were probably concentrating so much on not making it look like an independent film. They were trying so hard to make it look like a Steven Seagal action film from the 80s, or a Charles Bronson film, that they lost track of the one thing that really would have kept us in it, which is the story. I mean, there's so many lines in here that he could have enacted. He didn't have to, when the greatest moments in here for Jai White are when he is completely still and he's just staring a hole through you.
Yeah,
that's the stuff. That's the gold we've been looking for. And then he doesn't do anything after that except talk, and that is when it goes, what the fuck,
It's literally. It kind of feels like. It was almost like when he's in his calm moments, it's almost like Denzel in The Equalizer, but we don't get the payoff. I mean, I love the characteristics, the fact that Oscar Shaw is always wearing a suit. He's soft-spoken. When he walks...
The pajamas and
the egg timer for his meditations. But then we get zero payoff in it. And then Isaiah Washington and Tyrese Gibson are just so wasted in this film.
Totally.
The movie looks great, but it suffers what so many indie films suffer, is in the writing. Because a lot of the stuff, listen, there's a suspension of disbelief, and then there's, come on, now you're insulting my intelligence.
Right.
And a lot of the writing and the scenarios of this film insult the intelligence of the viewer.
And a lot of times that is due to budget. But you can't tell me when you have a movie with three powerhouses like you do with Tyrese Gibson, Michael Jai White, you can't tell me that you don't have the budget to make action sequences, especially Michael Jai White, who could do this. He could do karate in his sleep. You know, you don't need much. All you needed him to do was throw a couple kicks or throw a couple punches.
Right.
And that would have solved all of your problems.
The shooting is what would have cost the money, because now you've got to have the weapons, you got to have the blanks. It would have been cheaper just to have the fight scene.
You have to have the security. You have to have the handlers, the gun handlers on set. You know, all that. You know, and I get it. He doesn't want to be known as the karate guy. I understand.
But you're a karate guy.
But this movie called for it, right? The meditation, the Buddhist philosophies. I mean, what are you doing with that? You're not doing anything with that other than that's the only thing that centers him. Okay, great. That's the only thing that centers him, but it doesn't pay us off.
No, it does not. I'll tell you what. You want to know what a bigger black-led film that let me down? In a lot of ways was Ghost Dog. Like that's the only other time I felt like I was let down. And what's weird, I'm looking at the poster for this, and you've got Michael Jai White, Tyrese Gibson, Isaiah Washington. I'm thinking this is going to be sort of like a nod to Original Gangsters from 1995, where all the blaxploitation heroes and heroines.
I mean, the story is there. The
story is there.
It is the 80s action movie to a T. It is the Steven Seagal movies, the Charles Bronsons of Death Wish. It is the Death Wish movie. Really, it is Death Wish. That is the story.
Death Wish in the hood.
Yeah.
And you do nothing. And you even have the great setup where he's a disgraced cop, and he's just, it's all there. It's almost like his aura stops anyone from trying anything.
Right.
It's like he's Luke Cage in the real world.
Well, I'm going to do a spoiler here because...
mild spoiler.
There's a moment when he takes out the gang. We don't even get to see him take out the gang. They just say it
it happens.
Yeah, it happened, and they go, do you know what happened to all of a sudden all the gang members are dead?
Yeah.
Why didn't we get to even see that? Why didn't we see that?
We saw him deal with what?
We saw him enter the thing, and then it went to the next scene,
Right. It's almost like he so desperately doesn't, you already said it. He doesn't want to be just the karate guy, but and it wastes Tyrese because maybe it's the fact, maybe Tyrese was wanting to do something different because he's become the sort of comic relief of the Fast and the Furious franchise. So now he wants to play it completely straight. And I understand that. But listen, give the man something to do. Isaiah Washington, if you're going to have Isaiah Washington, give the man something to do.
Please.
You want to know the best part about this movie for me is that we got that Samuel Goldwyn logo. I used to love seeing that logo in my films when I was a kid. It was great seeing that again.
Yeah.
But this movie sets up so much and pays nothing off. It hurts my soul because I love Michael Jai White so much.
I will give kudos to Cecile Cubillo as Detective Nina Perez. I think she was the best actor in this movie, but even she gets kind of screwed by them being kind of...
The lines are... The writing is abysmal.
It is really bad. And the ending really does her disservice, right? So, I mean, that's kind of...
It really does. Don Roth was the writer of this, and look, certain times when the lines are being delivered, I'm hearing Neil Breen. I have hacked all of the mainframes, and I will put it all for you to see. I'm like, oh God, why isn't Michael Jai White kicking someone? He's making more money than I am.
Right.
But bro, you phoned this in.
Yeah.
You phoned it in.
And I don't know where the where the script might have been different, and maybe they wanted more action stuff, and maybe they said, well, we're spending $500 a day on this red camera, and that's what we want to spend $500 a day on, and so we don't want to do any kicking or any action sequences with it, kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know where this came off the rails, but it came off the rails at some point. And they just try to band-aid it and put it together, and it doesn't work because it just is it bores you. But we're doing something different here on this season, and we're asking you all out there who watch us and who we know to give us recommendations for indie films. And there's still plenty of room for people who want to come in and do that for us. Yep. And we were fortunate enough. I think honestly, we've had Mr. SM Hillman give us 2 really good ones because. If it wasn't for him choosing the Phoenician scheme, we would probably not included that on our list. Well, I probably would have, but
eventually.
But that being said, because that was his number 1 movie, it kind of reminded me to watch that, and then we ended up doing that and reviewing it last episode as one of the ones that got away. And so here he is again. He's giving us another film, and it's our first anime, and this is very Japanese anime.
It's except
that it's a very different story than what you would get from a Japanese anime, I think, in a lot of respects. But
yeah.
アイドルは卒業させましたから、うちも大胆にイメージチェンジさせたいところなんですよ。はい、5秒前。4、3、2。どう？うちの大女優。
だから言ったでしょ。あなたはもう汚れちゃったもの。あなたの方はどんな一日だったの？今日も気分はブルー。でもみんなからのメールで少し元気になった。違うよ、これは私じゃない。私が光で、あなたは影よ。私生きてるのか。ミワ、どうしたっていうの？バカ野郎！大丈夫。幻想が実体化するなんてありえないの。ルミちゃん。カツオ！いつまでもあなたと一緒よ。
ようそう。
It is Perfect Blue. It is the story of a international pop singer who wants to turn into an actress and the perils of that decision.
This movie, the animation comes off as very. It's a choice. It's an artistic choice.
It's old school.
It's very old school. As a matter of fact, the last time I saw it was when I was watching the Animatrix. It really has that Animatrix looking animation to it.
It reminds me a lot of Spirited Away.
Yeah. But where your heroes are very, very beautiful, your villains are like ungodly, ugly, and it's like, how do you not know that they're a villain? Oh wait, the dubbing is it's very. That's the one thing with anime is some of the dubs can feel very, very awkward, and I know it's because of the translation. the translation versus the animation of the dialogue. You know,
honestly, that never bothers me. The thing that bothers me about animes is the cutesy whining. The cutesy whining drives me crazy.
Oh,
yeah. Especially in a movie as serious as this, right? I mean,
because it's laugh worthy. It's very funny.
I don't mind the mouths not moving. I get used to that. I'm paying attention to much more than that, to be honest with you. But I get what you're saying. But yeah, that's for me. The cutesy stuff really just was like it got crawled up my back a few times.
There was some of it that really did kind of get me a little bit too. But I'll tell you, I was really focusing on. I focused a lot on the dialogue. I focused a lot on the story. I focused a lot on the feel, the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie is very uncomfortable. And I really liked that. I love how uncomfortable this movie is.
I totally agree with that. That is exactly how I feel. That's exactly how I felt about it. And there is some incredibly artistic things that happen in this film. There's a moment when she's on the subway, and the subway reflects her image and not the image that we expect in the window. I can't imagine how difficult that must be to draw and put together and move. That is just absolutely stellar. I mean, there's a lot of the blood. Every time the blood came up in this movie, it was fucking amazing. I have never seen blood in an anime like that. That's really cool. It usually just splatters and goes away. But they have pools of blood, and it's subtle. And it comes from like the right spot in the anatomy, so it's like all that. There was attention to detail in this movie that I have never seen in an anime before, and I really, really, really appreciated that.
Absolutely, this was fun. Fun is now this.
I will say the twist I saw fucking a mile away, and I can give you the moment. There's a moment when she's in the car with her manager. That's the moment I knew who it was. So,
I seriously got some serious Yolanda vibes on that, but they
give it away in the dialogue, but
they really do.
But
it's not so much that twist. It's more the fact though, but it makes you question her sanity, and it makes you question your own sanity, and that is the fun of it.
Yeah, unlike a movie we're going to talk about later, this has more of a I'm inside her head vibe than the other movie that I'm talking about here. I know I'm being vague because we haven't done that episode yet, but
vague book.
But there is something to be said about watching her descend into madness versus the other option, which is the madness overtakes you and overwhelms you, right? And this movie has a logical twist ending. It's logical, and it doesn't absolve her of how she feels and how fucked up she is, right? So
it's on HBO Max, Perfect Blue, if you're curious about it. I'll tell you, if you like anime, you're really gonna like this movie, I think. And if you're an anime fan, if you're a Japanese animation fan, not like DBZ, Hellsing, whatnot, if you like anime, this is definitely a film for you. If you like Spirited Away, I think you're gonna like how dark this is. I think that you're gonna gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, I also wrote down. She mentions that they ask her to do something that they don't ask a lot of people to do in movies, but she says, "Oh well, I'm an actress now. I have to do it." No, you don't. You don't.
You really do not
in movies. Trust me.
Yeah, listen. If you're not comfortable, you ain't got to do it.
Yeah, please.
You are not Judy Garland.
You're
not Judy Garland in this situation, honey.
Yep, we do not need that to be the message.
No. And I will tell you, if you do go to watch this film, there is a major trigger warning.
There's a few, yeah.
So please be mindful that this film, listen, the Japanese in their filmmaking are not known for subtlety. they are going to hit you over the head with the emotion hammer, and they aren't going to apologize. And that's why we like Japanese animation. That's why Battle Royale is one of my favorite films.
Yeah, same. I think we're off to a good start with our audience participation. No, this was a movie that I think I would have never had on my radar, and I'm very happy
Not
that
ever.
it brought up to us, because I think it is different for an anime, and I appreciate that so much. And I, as a filmmaker, of course, I love all the weird, just interesting, like subtlety things that they do here that are just so perfect. And I can't imagine. I know how difficult all that is in live action. I can't imagine drawing that and then going over it and trying to make it stop motion. It's unbelievable.
Listen, animation in that regard, this is an art that's being lost due to CGI and whatnot. And look, CGI has its place for sure, but hand-drawn animation to me is still a beautiful thing. And this film is definitely, especially if you love hand-drawn animation, so definitely check out Perfect Blue. Is it?
Thank you to SM Hillman.
Thank you, SM Hillman. Okay, you were right.
Hello, everybody. Joe Compton here, and welcome back to the Indie Film Connection. Today I have 4 indie films that you will enjoy if you were a fan of Catherine O'Hara, as we celebrate her life and work here today. If I may just wax poetic for just a minute about Catherine. She was what you would call in Hollywood a classy dame. She was never afraid to show us a different side of her and go for it on screen. She had this silent, just malevolent command of the screen every time she was on it. And she never did it with this false bravado or loud, obnoxious gregariousness. She was always very subtle and very, very gentle when it came to the screen and giving us something amazing. It's those performances that we remember the most. And she is the most memorable in them. She is one of those that is going to be sadly missed, a generation that is waning and leaving us way too soon. So today we celebrate the life of Catherine O'Hara with just 4 films that I found exquisite within her catalog. They just happen to be independent films. So I'm happy to share them with you here today. The first indie film I have for you is called ACOD, or Adult Child of Divorce. It was a film by Stuart Zickerman. It stars Adam Scott as the mostly content and successful Carter, who decides to revisit a former counselor to make sense of his brother Trey's sudden wedding and his parents' extremely messy divorce. One of his parents happens to be Catherine O'Hara. When he realizes his life has been personified in a book about children of divorce written by his mediocre counselor, he decides to confront his family about their dysfunctional nature. You can watch this movie right now by clicking on the QR code below. The next indie film I have for you is called Temple Grandin, a film by Mick Jackson. Before enrolling in college, famed animal husbandry expert Temple Grandin, played by Claire Danes, visits a cattle ranch owned by her aunt Anne, played by Catherine O'Hara, and demonstrates a brilliance for all things mechanical. Once classes begin, the autistic Grandin rises to meet the intellectual challenges, though the social ones are a bit more difficult. Grandin triumphs over prejudice to become an innovator in the field of animal care and a lifelong advocate for humane slaughtering practices. You can watch this movie, Temple Grandin, on HBO Max by clicking on the QR code below. The next indie film I have for you is one of my all-time favorites. In fact, it is within my top 100 films of all time. It is a movie called Away We Go by Sam Mendes. As they await the birth of their baby, a couple, John Krasinski and Maya Rudolph, travel across America in search of the perfect place to raise their family. During their journey, they share assorted misadventures and reconnect with old friends and relatives, one of which is Catherine O'Hara. The experiences and the people they encounter help them define the word home on their terms, possibly for the first time ever in their lives. You can watch Away We Go by clicking on the QR code below. And finally, the last film I have for you is part of a collection of great interpretation of improv and mockumentary filmmaking by Christopher Guest. This is the final film that they did together, him and Catherine O'Hara. It is for your consideration. The possibility of Oscar Gold holds the cast and crew of an independent film in its grip after the performances of its virtually unknown veteran star, Catherine O'Hara, generates award buzz. Though the movie in question, Home for Purim, is impossibly awful, the rumors of future nominations snowball and attract the attention of a distributor who wants to make a few minor changes. You can watch this film right now by clicking on the QR code below, and I highly recommend going and checking out the entire catalog of these virtuosos by starting with Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show, and then, of course, A Mighty Wind. That'll do it for us here at the Indie Film Connection. I'm Joe Compton. I'll see you next time. And rest in peace, Catherine O'Hara. That's first episode in the can. How we feel good? I mean, it sounds like Bryan has got a movie on his list, and I will give you a little teaser for the next episode. You'll want to watch that because there is a movie that we watch in that block that I think will make my list at the end of the year. And you'll just have to find out what that is when we save you a seat for the next episode. Why, Bryan?
Because it's always time to go indie now.
Here on our
Can that be my thing? Anytime we get a movie that I hate, it just gets the finger.
Yeah, sure.
The tanger. The tanger.
The tanger. It gets the tanger. This definitely gets 2 tangers up for me.